equity and
Oh, okay.
sustainable development.
Okay, thanks. I just was curious and didn't know. Thank you so much. I yield back.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Tennessee, Representative Cohen.
Thank you, Chairman Perry. I appreciate you and the ranking member for holding the hearing and the chairman for allowing me to waive onto this subcommittee. Appreciate the witnesses for being here. Certainly great interest in the GSA site selection process for the new FBI headquarters. My interest is more in how we're going to determine the name of the new FBI headquarters. In 1972, following J. Edgar Hoover's death, and before much was known about some of the illegal activities he engaged in, Congress passed a bill to name the existing building as the J. Edgar Hoover Building. J. Edgar Hoover did not uphold the laws of this nation, the U.S. Constitution, or the standard of justice in many instances. It's absolutely inappropriate that our nation's leading federal law enforcement agency building still be named in his honor. Director Hoover was notorious for his regular abuses against and prejudice towards civil rights leaders, LGBTQ people, and African Americans at large. From his creation of the Counterintelligence Program, or COINTELPRO, which was a secret program aimed to, quote, expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit, or other neutralize the activities of black nationalists, hate-type organizations, to his FBI, quote, sex deviance, unquote, program. You know, he had a little thing about gays. He didn't look in the mirror very often, but he had a thing about gays. That nationalist hate-type organizations to his FBI, that he used them to attack and out LGBTQ employees in the federal government. Director Hoover symbolized the dangers of the weaponization of the federal government. He weaponized the federal government like never before and held much incriminating data about presidents, which some suggest is why he kept his position for so long. Relocation of the FBI building presents an excellent opportunity to release the FBI and its headquarters building from Director Hoover's tarnished reputation and instead pursue a building name that will appropriately honor the administration of justice. We're privileged in Congress to have dinners that are sponsored by David Rubenstein at the Library of Congress, and the last one I attended, the last one held, was a lady who wrote a biography of J. Edgar Hoover. She worked on it for 15 years, 800 pages. She had very little good to say about him because of his misdeeds. Is it Dooms? Thank you, sir. The GSA administrator, as I understand it, has the authority to name buildings, but typically looks to Congress for direction. I introduced H.R. 1175 this year, and I've introduced a similar bill for many years, which would redesignate the J. Edgar Hoover Federal Building as the Federal Bureau of Investigation Building. Given that the 1972 law expressly renamed the building constructed in downtown, would the old name convey to the newly reconstructed FBI building, or will only receive a name when Congress designates a name and the GSA adopts it?
Thank you for that question, Congressman. The expectation is that if the building comes down, GSA would defer to Congress to a new building and how it's named.
Thank you, sir. That would be appropriate, and I appreciate the clarity. It's important that the old name not carry over. The FBI needs to be respected as an agency that does carry out its duties of being fair and just in administering justice. And what happened in Martin Luther King and his phone being tapped and the messages that were sent to him by the FBI suggesting he should commit suicide because they had more information on him, which Mrs. King wouldn't want to know about, et cetera. What they did in Chicago when they killed Black Panthers, they put the set up with insiders and killed Black Panthers in Chicago. And it looks like something happened with Malcolm X. His convicted murderers have been released because they didn't do it. Who knows what else he did? Commissioner, I have one other question. It's my understanding that in October of 2022, the GSA requested authorization to lease space for an FBI field office in Nashville. It is also my understanding the committee has not considered that request. Can you explain the request for space and the current status of the procurement?
Thank you for that question, Congressman. I want to be careful here because that procurement is ongoing, but it has been advertised. The contracting officer has 3 offers on the table, but GSA will not proceed until this committee provides a resolution in support of that prospectus, at which point we would be able to make an award and move forward on that project in Tennessee. But I welcome the opportunity to let Mr. Demos fill in.
No, thank you, Mr. Dooms. And thank you for the question, sir. This is a very important project for us. Congress approved the consolidation of our Knoxville and Memphis field offices into a consolidated Nashville field office in 2019. And so the actual ability to award the construction project in Nashville is critically important for our employees who are already expecting that kind of transition to Nashville. And so this has been a 5-year plus endeavor. And so we would definitely appreciate your support, the committee's support, and if there are any questions that the committee has regarding the Tennessee consolidation effort, we'd be happy to kind of schedule a follow-on discussion at a time that's best for you, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do have to say I felt there was great discrimination in the decision to take the headquarters to consolidate in Nashville. It was obviously prejudice in favor of hot chicken over barbecue. I yield back the balance of my time.
Chair, thanks.